Hey, everybody, we're
Hello,
back.
hello, 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 hello. Good evening and welcome to Conversations with the Lovebirds.
I'm William Bird,
And I'm Darlene Bird, better
and
known
we
as the Lovebirds.
Lovebirds.
And we
Yes,
are lovers of people and we love love. And so
absolutely.
I think we want to start by just saying thank you, thank
Thank
you,
you, and
thank you.
thank you all for the reception from last week's show was fantastic, man. We had a really good time uh, conversing with you guys, and it was just a great time for us to come together and do what we think is, like we said, our mission of our marriage is to encourage and inspire people to real love and good
Yes.
relationships.
Absolutely. So last week was great. We got into some great dialogue. The conversation was amazing.
Yep,
We talked a lot about honesty last week, and
absolutely.
we talked about self assessments last week as it all pertains to the impact that those things will have on a healthy relationship. So thanks again for your feedback, your participation, your engagement was
It was
incredible.
awesome,
Hey,
guys.
listen, if you saw it last week, put in the comments I saw it.
Yes, exactly.
Put in the comments I saw it. So that was last Wednesday night. It was kind of our first one. It was a lot of fun.
It was very fun.
So happy to do
Actually, I had a
this.
great time.
Good
Great time.
times. Good
Lots of
time.
feedback, man. You guys were
Hmm.
right in there with us, man. That's exactly what we wanted. Well, we know we're doing well if you guys are responding to us. So it was a
Hmm.
great response, man. It was awesome.
All
Totally
right.
awesome.
If
Yep.
you saw it, put in the comments I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Uh
Okay.
huh. I
Yes.
just remember I had to share. Right. So we're back again for some
Absolutely.
more fun. This
Absolutely.
week, the topic is what's the need,
What's the
right?
need? What's the
What's the
need?
need is the topic.
Kind of play on words. I know you guys probably thought we were going to come here and talk about why are we doing this and all that, but
Mm-hmm.
we're actually going to address uh, fulfilling your
You meet identifying
identifying, fulfilling,
and
and
fulfilling
meeting
relational
your
needs.
relational needs.
Yeah, in
Exactly,
the
exactly,
relationship,
exactly.
identifying
Yep.
and actually and meeting
Mm,
those needs and having those
absolutely.
needs met in your relationship. So that's kind of where we're going tonight.
Yep.
And I think it's important to first talk
Mm,
about identifying. And I know for myself, it's key to talk about identifying because so often we just land somewhere and we get stuck.
we get stuck.
So, I mean,
Yep.
you may land on a job when you're 20 or 21 and you get stuck and
30 years later.
you could be there 30 years later. And maybe you don't even really like the job. Or if you had your choice, it wouldn't be the job that you would have picked. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Or you can find yourself in a relationship when you're 22, 23, and nobody does anything major to upset the apple cart.
Mm-hmm.
So you're stuck there for years and years and years. You can get stuck, which may not always be a bad thing. But if you ask yourself, if I had a clean slate and I could identify what I need,
Mm-hmm.
would my situation be different or would it be the same?
Exactly.
Something to chew on. So
Yep.
so sometimes we get stuck, but and sometimes we have the luxury of identifying or what we would want to see in that future and creating that. So our question for the conversation this week is,
Give it to him, baby.
you want me to give it to him?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What do you need to be fulfilled?
Yes.
What do you need to be fulfilled in your relationship
Mm-hmm.
or individually? What is it that you need that
Mm-hmm.
would make you be fulfilled
Mm-hmm.
in your relationship? So that's the question for this week that we're going to delve into.
Yes,
We
we
like to
are.
hear from you from some of the things that you would need to be fulfilled.
Right in the
Um,
comments. Tell us
but
what you need.
yeah, tell us what you need. But
Mm-hmm.
it's important to go ahead and identify those needs. We have needs. Sometimes we don't take the time to really think about them
The list.
or express them.
You need that list.
But
See,
we,
me and Darlene had the luxury of, in the beginning of our relationship, we really had the luxury because we had been in previous relationships before to
Mhm.
really set the tone by creating lists of what we needed and what we didn't need and
Mhm.
how we were going to approach our relationship. So, and I know a lot of times people kind of jump into relationship and it's you fall in love so to speak, without really venturing into those realms and asking those deep diving questions concerning the relationship and how you attain and fulfill or get your needs met and also fulfill your mate's needs. So we had an opportunity to do that, and we were intentional about making sure that we focused on meeting each other's needs.
So what is it that you need to be fulfilled in the relationship? So we all kind of have our, you mentioned the word list. We all have our list. I remember you sharing something with me, and it was 4 L's. You want to share that now?
I guess I will. So my needs were kind of different than Darlene's.
Yeah.
I remember when we first were in our premarital counseling sessions. Thank you, Pastor Nichols, for all your help and input in our relationship. But I asked Darlene one simple question, and it was, for me, it was really significant. And I asked her, do you really need or want a husband? I mean, that was a simple question, but it was very important.
Big question. It seems like a little question, but that's a big question. And I mean, what would make him ask that? He's like, Darlene, listen, do you really want a husband? Like, do you really need a husband? That's a huge question. And I imagine he probably was thinking, you know, you kind of got your regimens, you kind of got it all together, you kind of have this boat kind of sailing. Do you really need?
And but marrying up.
You're starting already.
I'm sorry, I'm marrying up.
But I'm gonna
Everybody knows that.
Aunt Debbie, Sarah, somebody, y'all help me with him.
I was marrying up. That's a true story.
Amy says she needs God to be first, and everything else,
okay,
He will provide.
She's
tapping into your list already.
There it is.
But the question about, Darlene, do you really want a husband? Do you even need a husband? Was a good question, because as women, especially those who may have already settled into your routines of life, do you really want a husband? And when I say husband, I mean husband. I don't mean somebody that you can mother, or somebody that you need to be their Holy Spirit for them, or somebody that you can pastor. Like, do you really want like a husband? And I was stunned that he asked me that question, but then I was grateful for it, because I had the opportunity to say, I have always wanted a husband over me. I have always wanted a covering. I've always wanted to feel like somebody has my back. I've always wanted to feel like, and I didn't have any of this, y'all. I've always wanted to feel like, somebody was praying for me. Somebody, I used to travel, and I would sit sometimes and say, there is nobody in the whole world who knows where I'm sitting right now. So, I mean, even though I kind of had it. Oh, and I was married. But, I suffer from loneliness. So I've always wanted a husband. And a lot of things that I didn't want to do. I did because I had to do. So as a woman, yes, I do want a husband. I want to submit. I want to get under the mission of my husband. So first of all, you got to have a mission. We're going to talk about that. To submit and get under a mission, it implies that you have a mission. So we'll talk about that. You got to be doing something. So I've always wanted a husband. And so that question, Darlene, do you really want a husband? Listen, ladies, if you're searching right now, answer that truthfully to yourself. Because it means, and next week we'll talk about love and respect, but it's a lot in that. And me saying, yes, I have always wanted someone to husband me. I've always wanted that. So that question was good.
Because in the beginning, even in the answer to that question, I noticed that Darlene was deficient in some areas. She had some real deficiencies as far as intimacy and care for her personally.
Which you said that in premarital. We were in premarital counseling, but thank you, Dr. Eric Nichols, who counseled us before he married us. But in marital counseling, you just said, listen, Darlene, I've noticed in Darlene these deficits.
Yes, I did. No, listen,
And so,
and being and observing and watching Darlene's mood and
mhm.
identifying her needs by watching her moods and watching her body language. That's really how you identify needs in a
Mhm.
relationship. Watch your mate, and then you'll see in their mood or their in their body language and how they
Uh-huh.
speak to you.
Mhm.
Uh, you can tell where a need is at
Yeah.
by being observant in that area.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, in observing Darlene, I noticed she was very needy. You know, she needed a lot of
So,
touching, and she needed a lot
yeah.
of words of affirmation, and
Yeah.
She needed to be showered with compliments
Uh-huh.
because she really didn't have that. As she
Right.
explained to me, as we got on further down the line in our
Yeah, I was married
relationship.
with somebody who was not emotionally available. So I
Mm-hmm.
never knew. I never had like, baby, what do you need? I didn't have my back rubbed and how can I help you? And I didn't have all that. So I had a deficit and I served out of that deficit. Look, Aunt Debbie said on her list, she has understanding,
Trust and
trust,
truthfulness.
and
That's good, Aunt Debbie.
truthfulness.
Yes,
Those are
absolutely.
good. Those are good.
Absolutely.
My
Hey, that brings me to my first list.
Wait
My
a minute, let me
first,
miss a couple
okay,
of these.
okay.
Oh, my
You like
cousin
yours?
Ellen said, that was a good question and she likes the
Mm-hmm.
answer. Hey, Izzy,
Mm-hmm.
we love you too.
Yep. Hey,
Okay.
let me go to my first list
Yeah, so
because
let's
that
go to
kind
your
of
list.
brings
Like,
my
what did
first
you
list.
need?
So
What
my
did to
first
be
list,
fulfilled?
so,
So there's a lot of stuff. The list could be so long,
yeah.
but
And see, my list is a lot different than hers. My list
mhm.
wasn't a need for myself personally. My list was more so a need to serve and be able to be so servant to my partner.
Well, I'm
So I
lucky.
mean, I started my very first list was like a poem, actually. And
Oh, I remember that.
and the poem I wrote Darlene this poem,
Hmm.
and it was titled something like "Your Knight in Shining Armor," and it
I
went a
told
little.
y'all.
It went a little.
He used to talk a lot of talk, y'all. He used to talk a lot of talk.
So my first list went something like this, and like I said, it was in the form of a poem.
Hmm.
So it started out something like, "Darlene, I will carry a strong, broad shield and to defend your honor,
Hmm.
and I would wield a long, sharp sword to champion your cause, and I would." Uh, Provide you with the swift black steed to take you to distant lands.
Yes.
And the last thing was, I will provide for you a grand white castle to store
See,
all your treasures.
this is why they
I
said
want
we.
to be
This
your
is why
knight
they
in
said we
shining armor.
Hallmark.
But
Baby,
that was,
it's
listen,
because of you.
that was a true, listen, I wrote this poem. It was really a poem. It
Yes.
didn't rhyme,
Right.
but
Right.
it entailed what I saw in her and what I thought that she would need for me
Yes.
to have to really take me on as a husband. So I tried to provide for her in that,
Yeah.
and by saying all those things, providing her with a home where she because when I first came here, this home was it was dead
Hmm.
because she had been in such a deficit. So telling her that I would turn the home into a castle and where she could store all her fine treasures, and providing for her a swift steed to take her to foreign lands meant that I would always keep the relationship fresh and everything. And
Hmm.
by telling her that I would champion her cause, I would think about her and take on whatever she took on as
Yeah.
as a challenge. Whatever her challenge was my challenge. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And with anything that would come against her, I would defend her. And that was where my very first list started.
Yeah.
It was
Aunt
pretty
Debbie,
cool,
Aunt
though.
Debbie, likes poems because she writes poems.
So
And
it's pretty
Kendra,
cool, but it really entailed everything that I wanted to provide for Darlene
yeah.
as a husband.
And Kendra picked up the fact that I said I wanted someone to husband me.
Yes.
Yes, husband is a verb.
Yes.
And I needed
Love
that.
is an action.
And yeah, and I
Love
needed
my
that
love is an action.
because as I said, I felt so alone before. Like nobody cared. Like nobody cared if I was crying. Nobody cared if I was sad. Nobody cared if I had too much on my plate. So he came in and he pays attention. I mean, if I'm in another room and I say, "Ooh, ooh, here he comes. What is it, baby? What happened?" So I wasn't used to this attention. So yeah, that was one of your lists. You had another list too. We're talking about identifying needs. But listen.
Oh yeah, that was. Well, go ahead.
Did you want to do that?
Now, I could do that one because that was another really good list. And then, like I said, all my lists weren't so much the need for myself because as a man, I feel like I can take care of myself. I'm not a needy person.
Right.
I am a very servant person. So I look at the needs of others more than I look at the needs for myself because I feel like God has got me in everything. My faith is strong, very strong faith.
Listen.
So my other list was...
Hold on, Amy said husband me. I know that's right, God darn it. Husband me, daggone it. That might be my next book. Husband me.
That's a good one. I like that one. I like that idea. Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay. Can you say that people can come? Absolutely.
Oh, yes. That's exactly what we did. That's our whole story.
The LoveByrds story.
Filling in where the other is weak. And oh, my goodness. If that isn't... You just now read the whole book. I promise you.
My deficits were, being cared for, being served, paid attention to, and I was very structured. Because if I didn't do it, it wasn't going to get done and I wasn't going to have any balls dropped. I felt like being a responsible parent means you're able to respond to things and you're thinking about things. These things are no surprises. They come up every year. Why aren't we prepared? And so I had a lot of structure. He was very, as you can see.
Devil may care.
You know what? But spontaneous and free.
As my pastor would say,
but
together, good for the heart, but bad for the reputation.
Yeah. So two people we're very, very different. In our story, the LoveByrds story speaks to a lot of those differences and how God was able to use them because at the end of the day, he had what I needed to be fulfilled and I had what he needed to be fulfilled. And together it just works. Mm-hmm. It just works. We complement each other so well. Do you want me to talk about my list or did you want to talk about yours?
Oh, well, you can go to your list because your list is good too. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I mean, listen, you got to write out these lists, man, because it'll keep you focused, it'll keep your attention, it'll drive you. So you write down these things, man, if you have to. Storm in your brain. I storm mine all the time, man. I got lists all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Clarence and Cindy, they're watching together. Oh, yeah.
Oh, hey, that's my brother. Hey, let me say hey to some people. Nakaya, Amy, hi, y'all. Izzy, good to see y'all. I'm so sorry for not acknowledging y'all. Dawn Lee Thomas, thank you for joining.
We got family, we got Pat
Cousin
on
Debbie, Cousin Sarah, Kendra, hey, thank you, love you too. Mm-hmm. Yes, there you go.
Yeah. So, guys, I wrote my needs down.
This is good.
If you guys would bear with me for a minute. I wrote my needs down a long time ago when I wasn't getting any of these things, but realized that
way before
I had some things that were absent. So I wrote these things down and I put them in a drawer and I filed them away. And I found them later when I was dating William. And I'm going to read what I wrote. It's very specific. It's very personal. And listen, I don't care. I'm going to share it.
Share.
And I encourage you to be specific.
500 copies out there in the world somewhere.
Yeah, y'all. I'm out here. I'm out there. So listen, in the LoveByrds story, I'm going to read it on page 87. I wrote this list down. I used to do a lot of journaling when I was depressed and not getting my needs met. That's my cousin Ellen. Yep, together as one. So I wrote these things down and I knew what I needed, what I was missing. And so I'm going to read it. So bear with me, okay, because I'm going to read it. They're categories. And I wasn't getting any of these at the time. I was lacking. So what would I need to be fulfilled? That's our question. I was deficient. That's our question for the day. What do you need to be fulfilled in your relationship? Physically.
She's gonna start out with the.
Well, I'm on page 87 of our story, the LoveByrds story. Physically, there must be a physical chemistry between us. He must love me, love my body, and openly display affection. Hands always on me, letting me know that he is there and I am not alone. Love to hug, kiss, and cuddle all day. Privately must be passionate and intense. Must be able to satisfy me sexually. That's what I had under physical.
I ain't even
you weren't even in the picture when I wrote these things.
In the picture. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But
attitude. He must be a team player. He must be cooperative, able to give praise and credit to others. He must be friendly and open, have no ego or insecurity hangups about himself. Girls, y'all know about that. Extremely confident, yet very open to learning and able to admit when he is wrong, able to admit when he has a lot to learn, able to say, I'm sorry, must know how to ask for help, and must be able to cry. These are the things that I put under attitude. Again, I'm in a bad marriage now where I'm not getting any emotional support. Spiritual, hands always on me. Absolutely, Amy. Absolutely. Absolutely. No, let me know I'm not alone, because again, I suffer from loneliness. Spiritual, we must be equal. We must both love the Lord, both seek God for direction and decisions, etc. Openly praising, praying, worshiping God, leading the family to church, and leading worship and prayer. And he must pray with me and for me. You saw that insecurities, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Did you, Amy? Social, socially.
My favorite.
This is what I needed socially to be fulfilled, to like to be like at the top. He must be a strong communicator of feelings, of thoughts, of ideas, of plans, of goals. He must have an outgoing personality and be talkative with everyone. He must love family and gatherings and must speak well. He must carry himself in a mature, responsible, and respectful manner. He must make me proud in front of others. Okay? Two more. I got mental and emotional left. Mentally, he must challenge me in conversations. He must be quick, witty, precise, perceptive, and fun. He must have a positive philosophy about life. I don't like negative people. He must be positive. He must have a positive philosophy about life, values, love, and faith. He must have personal goals and plans, knows where he has been and where he wants to be. He must be mature and disciplined, must make good decisions, especially regarding money, jobs, investment, and spending. And emotionally, he must hurt when I hurt. He must feel me. He must have a genuine concern for my needs. He must know how to read me, willing to supply my emotional needs. Must freely compliment, support, nurture, and reassure me. He must pay attention to me, and I need to feel like I'm everything to him.
That's deep.
So
That's deep.
Yeah, a lot went into this list because I was hurting and I knew what was missing. So it's in here, y'all. The list is in here, and I would recommend that every woman take the time. Listen, husband me, Lord, with page 87 on the list. And
that should be every woman's
send
list.
it down,
I
Lord.
Swear, yo,
but this, yes. And I wasn't getting any. And the guy, I was married 27 years. I wasn't getting these things. I was lacking in these things. So I know what I needed. So our question for you is really like, what are your non-negotiables? What do you need to be fulfilled in a relationship? Take the time to do the work to answer that question so that you know. Because like I said, sometimes we fall into a relationship. Nobody really did anything major enough to break it off, so we just stay. But are the things on your list fulfilled? And let me tell why that's important.
Because needs don't go away. They just surface somewhere else, and usually in a bad place.
Let me tell you, needs are your needs. I remember crying out to God, and I think I talk about it in the book, like, God, you made me with these needs. So I don't really feel like I'm fulfilling my purpose that you put me here for. I'm lacking and I'm so deficient in these areas. So if we don't express our needs or unfulfilled needs, they're not going to go away. You can bury them. You know, I buried them. I was at the church all the time. I was doing everything I could to bury these needs, but they get unexpressed and unfulfilled needs. They get buried alive, but they're going to come back in uglier ways. They're going to get bigger. Usually. So you can skate around them, but it's not, some good communicator.
I like to put interject this because I read a post that I put out a few years ago during the beginning of our relationship. And I said in the post, it read something like, today I'm going to be opportunistic about my opportunities. Now, most people would think that being opportunistic is a negative thing. Most synonyms for the word describe it as being cunning or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But there are ways to be opportunistic positively. When you're I wrote down some of the opportunistic positive attributes. You can look it up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Some of the is gracious and
Yeah.
sensitive, calculated,
Mm-hmm.
courteous,
Mm-hmm.
strategic. You know what I mean? Those were the opportunistic paths that I was taking. I was, I wasn't going to miss out on this opportunity because here's the thing. I was really, my list was proving not only proving to Darlene, but it was proving to myself that I could be the best person that I could be.
Mm-hmm.
That like I said, the list wasn't for her needs. The list was fulfilling my needs in a grand way.
Yeah.
Because, I felt like it was time for me to step up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Step out and step up, which was really, really big for me, taking that big leap. And, he didn't give me a small challenge either. It wasn't a small challenge. And I took it on head first, with intentionality. And, here we are.
Showing
today.
your love by what you do.
Exactly.
Not what you say.
I always say love.
Actions,
I love the academia love where we talk about the philios and the agape. But if you want to encompass love from me, do something. Love is action.
What have you done for
what
me
have
lately?
you done for me lately? Listen. I love going through that. The learning about love and giving you, like I said, the academic love, but real love is in action. Yeah. Real love is in how.
Yeah, opportunistic is totally different from being an opportunist. Yes. I know that's right.
Yeah,
I know that's right.
Yeah,
especially when you're taking opportunities to serve and to give.
Exactly.
Like you're giving. Yes. You took opportunities to give versus to take.
Love
gives.
Yes.
God so loved the world that He what?
Gave. Absolutely.
Love gives.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're talking about needs today. We're talking about our list and what's on your list. What are your non-negotiables in relationships? What are the things that you really, really would need to be fulfilled? We're saying that we have to identify those and know those. Mm-hmm. And then we started talking about your partner seeing those needs. And let me tell you something. And we talk about unmet needs they don't go away because they're your needs, and it's how you were made. All of us differently and individually. So let me tell you about some conversations that I had with my daughters. I have 2 daughters. And I remember talking to one of them, and she's very smart, very smart. And I remember saying to her, listen, your partner, you need a partner who can go there with you. They can't be flighty with you. They have to give thought to what they say to you, what they do to you, what they buy you, where they take you. And you need that. And someone who can engage you in those heady, thoughtful conversations. Their gifts to you need to be thoughtful. You need someone who can put the thought in, because you have that need. So if you partner with someone who can't fulfill your need and doesn't want to learn how to fulfill your need, where does that leave you? When you have this thing, you're empty. And my other daughter, who is a prima donna, and she knows it, I said, you're going to have to marry someone who's going to put you on a pedestal, and because that's where she needs to be. And he does. He'll buy out a whole restaurant for her, and he'll constantly put her on this pedestal because that's what she needs, and she loves it, and she seems she's fulfilled in it. So when you have these needs, your partner has to want to fulfill these needs. And even if they don't know how to, they want to learn, and they want to, understand what fulfills it. Because guess what? If they're doing things that they think fulfill it, how do I say this clear? They're throwing up air balls. Mm-hmm. They're throwing up air balls.
Loving somebody in their love language. language.
You got to love people in their language. Chapman's wrote a book on the five languages of love. But if you're not loving someone in their language, they don't feel loved and they don't feel secure. But you have to really want to understand what someone's needs are and want to fulfill that need in a way that brings that smile to them.
Yes.
So it's really learning and paying attention and studying,
asking.
Ask.
The best way to get through this, man, is ask.
So
A closed mouth don't get fed.
So I read my list, and I remember sharing it with my girlfriends, and they remembered it. Where's that list that you wrote 10 years ago? And you know what they said, Dar, you created Billy Bird when you wrote that list. And I was like, wow.
That's one of them aha moments. I love the aha moments.
Because
I talk about them all the time.
When I pulled, I said, I have this list. He didn't want to see it.
I didn't want to see it at first. Listen,
oh my God, no. I think I'm doing good.
Yeah,
I don't want to see this list. This list, I'm gonna get an F and I'm done. I don't want to see the list. He did not want to see the list. But
I was surprisingly, I was surprised that, exactly what
physically.
Man, I was like, that's the greatest job in the world. I want that job. I want that job.
Yeah,
I want that job.
That's right, Amy. They need to know their love language, and you need to know yours, because oftentimes they're different. Oftentimes the way that we try to show love, and the way that we like to receive love might be different. You just heard my husband say he loves to serve, and he loves to make it about someone else. So that's how he shows love. Fortunately, I like to I can receive that love and that attention and that focus and that priority. But sometimes the way we give love may not be the way that we receive love. So yeah, you need to understand what you need to be fulfilled, how you like to be loved on, and you need to give it to the person in the way that they want it, so that we're not one of those air balls.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So have you guys thought about, some of your non-negotiables that you need? It's really, really good. Jackie, what's up? That's my sis.
Comments, baby, because I can't keep up with y'all in these comments. I'm just new to this, man. You guys are chiming in something super, and I really appreciate it. That means that we must be getting you guys fired up about something.
So
thanks for the comments, everybody.
Yeah, so we're sharing our list of what we need to be fulfilled, and it's good to take the time to understand what is it that you need, so that you would be really fulfilled. Because what happens if you're unfulfilled in your relationships? What if those needs aren't met?
Is that? We already know.
That's a recipe for disaster, because your needs don't go away.
Absolutely.
They're still there. If you need conversation and communication, that's a need for you, and you're not getting it, you're gonna be talking to somebody, because it's a need. God created you that way with the need. So we have to understand these needs, and we have to partner with someone who wants to fulfill it or wants to learn how to. Even if you say, you know what, I understand that that's your need, I have to do some work to kind of meet you there.
Yeah. Hey, listen, I got something I want to bring up, because this is, and I spoke to this in this opportunistic thing and whatnot. So we like to do a lot of this cheat code stuff. So I kind of take my relationship as an institution.
Okay.
The relationship, our union institution. And I think of it as a bank account. Something like a bank account. So imagine if you had, say you have a bank account and you got $500 in that bank account. And something comes up and you need to go make a withdrawal. So you only got, and you haven't made any effort to make any more deposits in there and anything whatnot. So you go to withdraw that money, and now you only got, say, $200 in the bank account. Now, you know what I mean? You're a little worried because you ain't have what you got, and you ain't making no more efforts to put no more money in there. Then something comes up that's more than the $200 you got. Now you're overdrawn. Right. And I say that to say this. So in the way I've, try to finance my relationship is I like to make a lot of deposits.
Absolutely.
I love to make deposits. Absolutely. So now I'm making deposits. Deposits are small. Deposits, they say you do put small deposits to get to a bigger thing. So as I'm making these deposits, get up in the morning, I make her coffee.
Yes, you do.
I get up, or
Yes, you do.
every moment I'm asking Darlene, is there anything I can do for you?
Yes,
Or
you do.
I'm complimenting Darlene. So I'm making all of these deposits.
Anticipating my needs. Cup of tea just shows up magically.
Yeah. So I'm making deposit after deposit.
Yes.
You know, so now my account is up here. My account is up here. And when I go to make a deposit, when I say, Darlene, I need, or Darlene, can you? When she goes to that account,
or a little pinch, it's an emotional.
She goes in that account, and when she makes a withdrawal, she's not even noticing that there wasn't a withdrawal, because I made so many deposits. You know what I mean?
Right.
That it doesn't feel, and she knows, one, that I'm going to keep on making deposits, so I'm going to refill that.
Absolutely.
And here's another thing that
don't go off that point yet.
I'm not. No, listen.
Okay.
Here's another thing. If you're thinking of a financial institution, you got deposits, you've got withdrawals, and you got investing. So now all of these deposits I'm making, I can take some of them now and invest it in our relationship by doing, like, invested in taking the time to pull out a conversation card. Now she's willing and more than able to sit down with me and go through a deck of conversation cards, or she's more than willing to sit down and hear my, what I went through today. You know what I'm saying? Because now I've made those deposits. I've got a lot. Now I'm going in to make an investment.
Right.
It's just, and if everybody looked at that like that,
right,
your banking, that financial institution would be strong. Then, hold tight, there's one other thing. Now, when I walk in the bank, when I walk into my union institution, it's like this. Hey, Mr. Bird, how you doing? Is there anything I can? The customer service is overwhelming. You feel me? Boy, that's a cheat code for you right there. Another institution.
And
what y'all think? Tell me what y'all think.
So we all understand the bank account, right? Yeah. So we're talking about emotional. You got that right, Amy. You got that right. Good credit. Good credit. Amy is funny.
Yes.
So, but listen, absolutely. We all understand a bank account, right? So we make these deposits, and once you have enough deposits, every once in a while there might be a withdrawal. Something might not be quite right, or said quite right, or done quite right. But when you've made so many deposits, every once in a while, a little withdrawal, what's that going to do? That's a little withdrawal. You're not even going to feel that, because there's been so many deposits. But when the withdrawals pile up, and the withdrawals pile up, and the withdrawals
you're overdrawn,
and you're emotionally overdrawn, we got a problem.
Yep. Absolutely.
We got a problem.
Oh yeah, the transfers. The transfer that worked too.
The transfers.
I'm gonna put that in there.
Yes. You got it. See, Amy.
See, you got it. Yeah, that's it.
Right.
That's it.
Right. So listen, if the withdrawals are huge and the deposits are few and far between, you got a problem.
Disaster.
You got a problem.
Disaster.
You got a problem. So, and here's the other thing. You need to know what is a deposit for your mate.
Good love credit.
And you need to know what's a withdrawal for your mate.
Yep.
Because it's different. It's different for everybody. Again, it goes back to loving people in their language.
Their love language, yeah.
And communicating. I think somebody mentioned communication is key. Communicating these things. Sometimes we just have to do the work to even know. Amy talking about a joint account. Write it all down, Amy, because we about to do something with this.
We definitely gonna do something.
Write it all down, Amy.
I already got it in my head. So, but,
wow, this is good. Are you guys enjoying the conversation tonight?
Yes.
It's been a good conversation.
I went off topic.
No, it was good, because we were talking about understanding and loving. Yeah, did some of you guys tell us what your needs are, what your non-negotiables are? Listen, I want to say this. My husband, I'm about to embarrass you a little bit.
Okay. I don't mind.
We're talking about knowing what you need. We said our question of the week. What was our question? What do you need to be fulfilled in your relationship? Right. That's what we're talking about. This is Hey, Ronnie.
Hey, Ronnie.
What do you need to be fulfilled in your relationship is the question this week, right? And let me say this. There's a song that comes on the radio, right? Every time this song come on the radio, Billy Bird turn it up. I notice. I look for it now. I ain't even talked to him about this. When this song comes on, he turns it up and he sings loud, right? Have y'all heard that song that says, you wearing what song? Yeah, have y'all heard that song that says, I need good sex and commitment? Baby, whenever that song come on, you turn that song up and you start singing real loud. Like, am I supposed to be hearing what you're singing? Did you know you were doing that?
I do.
I need good sex and commitment.
Absolutely.
I said, every time that song come on, he blasted. And he starts singing it.
I love that song, though.
Baby, are those your non-negotiables?
Those are my non-negotiables. Yes. That's, yo, don't.
Oh my God.
Those would be two of my non-negotiables.
Good sex and commitment.
You is so bad.
I'm on you. You be turning it up, that baby, and singing loud. And if your door closes in your shop, do you open the door so I can hear that song? I know you maybe didn't do that part, but
I'll play it every now and then just so, yeah. But that's one of my non-negotiables.
They laughing with us, y'all. But
hey, listen to this. And guess what? Listen to this.
Mm-hmm.
I made another list for Darlene. I gave Darlene a job, which was another list.
True.
Which was another list.
Mm-hmm.
And it went something. It's still in effect right now. It goes something like this. What I needed from Darlene.
Mm-hmm.
She asked me what I needed. And this is the list I came up with. I told her, I need you to smile at me. I need you to look pretty. I need you to tap me on my knee every once in a while and tell me I'm doing a good job.
He did.
That was my list.
You told me that was my job description.
That was the job. And every time she does it, she gets a raise. I promise.
He said, listen, let me tell you what your job is. Mom, I'm here to serve you, but your job is to look pretty.
No. Smile at me first.
Smile at me.
Look pretty.
And look pretty.
Tap me on my knee.
And tell you you're doing a good job.
Yes.
So I said, baby, you're doing such a good job. You're such a good husband to me.
She just got another raise.
I just got.
But that was my list.
It's so easy.
That was
it's too easy.
But that was
so
my
easy.
list. I mean,
You know what else? You had another list, and I've read mine, guys, on page 87.
I had a lot of lists.
No, you know what? Remember you had the 4 L's?
Oh yeah. So that was my favorite list. This is my favorite list.
We're talking about what do you need to be fulfilled in your relationship, and identifying those and meeting those in the relationship. You had 4 L's. Hey, Kayla.
Hey, Kayla.
You had 4 L's.
Those Baxter team. Baxter. Yeah. Love you guys.
Clarence said, I love you guys because now listening to you both, I know better. Because when I know better, I do better.
That's right.
That's what it's
right.
all
That's
about.
the key.
Like I said, hey, let's all level up.
Let's level up.
Let's all level up. Let's go up
That's
together in these relationships.
Yep.
You want to talk about your 4 L's, baby?
Oh, yeah. I had another list. Man, I got a lot of lists, yo. We ain't going to give you
to be fulfilled, you had 4 L's.
I had 4 L's.
The
4 L's.
Okay, what are your 4 L's?
My 4 L's were the Lord, the lady, the love, and the lifestyle. So encompassed in that was a whole lot of stuff that I needed. First of all, I needed the Lord to help me through it all. And help me achieve what I wanted to achieve. Like I said, most of my lists were centered and focused on me becoming and achieving certain goals and being a husband to Darlene and just doing it right. So I needed the Lord, and then I needed the lady, and she needed to be a certain lady.
Okay.
And I needed the love. I needed to be able to give that lady my love. And then through all of that, we would have a lifestyle indicative of all that. Right. With the Lord and all of that and the love.
It all would just come together.
It would all come together.
The Lord in there, the right lady, the love is overflowing, and living the lifestyle.
Exactly.
So that's a pretty good list, baby. I
The
remember
Lord,
those
the
things.
lady, the love, and the lifestyle.
That's-
I even listen.
that's
I
your
set
next
up.
book,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah. You're right.
That's
Yo,
right.
listen. I even set it up one morning. So
You did.
I woke up in the morning and I had a cross, a
You're
necklace
so
with a
cute.
cross.
You're so cute.
I put the cross next to it, and then I put a picture of her next to that, and then we had a candle that had a gold candle that had a heart on it,
Mhm.
and I had a heart on it, and then at the last thing I put was like 2 tickets we had went somewhere,
The Lord,
like
the
we
lady,
went to
the
Cancun or
love,
something
and
like
the
that.
lifestyle.
So the Lord, and that's how
Mhm.
I got
Check,
a picture of
check,
it. Check.
and check.
Yes, the Lord, the lady, the
Absolutely.
love. That was one of my favorite lists.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite lists.
Yeah.
That came after, we had been
Mhm.
together for a little while,
Mhm.
and I was just,
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about our relationship, man. I stay super involved in our relationship.
Uh-huh. So yeah, so
Committed
today we've been talking a lot about identifying your needs, making that list. I shared mine from page 87 of the LoveByrds story, pretty detailed list. Billy has shared several of his lists. We were talking about non-negotiables for your relationship. What do you need to be fulfilled in the relationship? Identifying those needs and communicating what they are and working to meet those needs.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, Juan is watching too. Say hi to your
Hey,
boy. That's your boy.
Juan, my main man, Those Baxters, man. We love y'all. Got to check out Those Baxters too,
those
man.
Baxters.
Those
Baxters. Tuesday nights.
I don't know. Put it in the comments, Juan, Kayla, please, for them.
Yes.
Because listen, you got to find people with good relationships to know how to be in a good relationship.
Absolutely.
And they have an awesome and fantastic relationship. We love those guys.
Yes.
They're awesome, man. They are so awesome. Thank y'all so much, man. We appreciate you.
What did Clarence say? I need commitment.
I need to be equally yoked with my mate. I need compassion for self-expression because I recognize that you are the love of my life in the life of my life. So I need to be accountable for the level of the intensity of affection.
You better
be accountable.
You better be.
Boy, you talking
for the
some
level,
serious
Wait,
talk.
no. He said the level and the intensity.
You've
You've been talking to Billy Bird because y'all be talking that talk, man. Oh, that's that street stuff. Y'all be.
Thank you, Kelly. Yes.
So I think what we're going to do now is
go to a commercial.
Okay.
Chuck's going to head to the commercial. Y'all check out
Stay
Feel
with
Good
us.
Talk and Chuck and the A Game. And then he's probably going to play a run of the book. We'll come back, give you guys some information on the book. We're going to come back with our bird seed for the week. We got birds. We're going to
leave you with some bird seeds to nibble on throughout the week. You don't want to miss this bird seed.
You don't want to miss this bird seed. This bird seed
stay
is
with
real
us.
good.
We'll be right
Give
back.
it to us, Chuck. Okay, we're back, everybody. Hey, listen, get your the A game is only for men. Amen. Get your A game up. Charles Brady says it's flying off the shelf. So put your order in through Charles. Charles, maybe you want to put something up so that they can access the A game. We will give you guys the
Can you hear?
the
Can you guys hear
can
us
y'all
okay?
hear us?
Wanna
Hey,
make
can
sure you can
somebody
hear us
say
okay.
y'all can hear us? Because I don't see
Can you
this.
guys hear us okay?
Can y'all hear us? Okay, anyhow, if not, we're gonna wait till y'all can.
All
Yeah,
right.
oh, we got some thumbs up. That's
Okay,
good.
cool.
Okay, good.
So the
What
bird
else?
seed. The bird seed
Okay.
for the week.
We're gonna go for
We're
the
ready to
bird
talk
seed.
about the bird seed for the week.
Thank you.
Okay, we've been talking about meeting needs and
Mhm.
where those unmet needs, how they need to be fulfilled in a relationship. We talked about the emotional bank account deposits and withdrawals, and making sure that you have a good balance so that if there's a withdrawal, you're okay.
You
You won't
talked
be
about how to
overdrawn.
identify those needs through
Mhm.
questions, through watching body language, through watching
Mhm.
mood.
Right.
I just wanted to put that part in.
Cool. All right.
That was it.
All right. So our bird seed.
Yes.
What we want to leave them with this week? Our bird seeds.
Our bird seed. We had a couple bird seeds. We didn't know which one to do, man.
All right.
Well, we had a couple bird seeds. So this bird seed is, I think we're going to come from the book with the bird seed.
Yeah. So we're going to talk. We're coming from the book from one Billy. In our story, every chapter has his part of the story and my part of the story. So one of the parts of your story is on page 150. You want to just tell the story?
I will.
Okay.
Can I read? I'll read, and then I'm gonna read what how it starts out, and then I'll give you guys the story. Mm-hmm. As we were spending more time together, I was realizing that the things that Darlene never had and needed were the things that I could easily provide, because that is inherently who I am and what I wanted to do for her anyway. Mm-hmm. It seemed to me like the easiest and most fulfilling job in the world. And I remember I was working at the airport, mm-hmm. and I was coming home, and I used that time, to talk to God. But on this particular occasion, I was coming home, and it finally hit me that I was married to Darlene. And when it hit me like a ton of bricks. I've married this woman, and oh my God, what am I supposed to do? Lord, I don't even know. I felt like I was lost in the forest. And all I remember as I was driving down, and I feel this cold sweat overtake my body. And I'm fearful of the fact that I got to take care of this woman now, or I need to, now I need to really be a husband. This is 6 months into the marriage when it finally hit me. One of those aha moments when I talk about all the time. And I'm riding down the highway, and all of a sudden everything got quiet. And you know how sometimes you can hear yourself talk to yourself, and you know if it's you. Mm-hmm. But all of a sudden I heard this voice, and I promise you it wasn't me. It was because it didn't sound like me talking to myself. I could have never came with this, because at this moment I don't even know what to do. And the voice said to me, "You take care of Darlene and I'll take care of the rest." And boy, when I heard it, it was like a joke. Like, I looked around, because it wasn't me. It didn't sound like me. Wow. You know what I mean? I can hear myself talking to myself. So when I heard it, it sounded like it came from somewhere. Mm-hmm. And it startled me and looked around, and then all of a sudden it hit me again. And I just started laughing uncontrollably. Mm-hmm. I just because I realized that's the job I wanted anyhow. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a husband to Darlene, to take care of Darlene. Mm-hmm. And as I'm laughing, I started crying at the same time. So I'm laughing uncontrollably, mm-hmm. and I'm crying, and I'm talking about the tears is streaming down my face, and I'm driving down the highway, and it's like, I gotta gain control, because at this moment I'm just overwhelmed with joy at the fact that I've heard God tell me. I said this to Kayla last night in the comment. I felt that was the moment I realized what God had did. He had not only called me, he had chosen me, and then he had charged me. Mm. And it was the most fulfilling thing. Talk about a need being met. That was your assignment. That was where my need was finally met. I mean, I knew that's where I really knew that God was listening to me, that God was on my side, that he was going to see this through with me.
Yes.
Through it all. As long as I stayed obedient and as long as I stayed, on the other side was going to be my blessing.
Yes.
And like I said, here we are today.
And guys,
it was an amazing moment, guys. I've never felt like anything like that
God
ever
gave
in
you
my
an
life.
assignment. And if God has ever given you an assignment, you know when you have an assignment from God. And if you ever get lost, I always say, go back to that last thing that you heard clearly that God told you. So God gave him an assignment to take care of his daughter. And y'all, I feel God's love for me through my husband in the way that he loves me. He takes care of God's daughter for him. And I feel that's how I feel.
You know how they say, God, I feel like God does have Darlene's picture on his refrigerator. I do. I really do. I mean, there was nothing greater in another. I can't even get it out there. I'm choking up because every time I tell that story, I feel overwhelmed with so much joy. It makes me want to cry with happiness. Lord. Because like I said, that was the job that I wanted. That was the job I was asking for. Yes, it was deep. I know, listen, guys, it was deeper than you can even imagine.
Yeah.
It was, it was an out-of-body experience.
Yes.
Believe me when I tell you.
Yeah. So he has a mission. And let me say this, I talked to some wives. I talked to not every man carries it like a mission. I get that. Okay. And you need to understand that. But it's missional for him. God gave him that assignment and he lives every day like he's taking care of me for God. It's a beautiful thing.
I am. He told me. That's what he told me to do. It's a beautiful thing. And guess what? This is the big part of it. He ain't failed me, and he has kept his promise. Yeah. He has kept his promise above and beyond
what I could cry. Above and beyond what I even expected.
I knew it was going to be good, but I know it was going to be this good. Right. I couldn't even imagine it being this good. You know what I'm saying? He has really kept his promise above and beyond anything I could ever imagine.
Yeah. So we've been talking about meeting needs, and I think what my husband is saying is that some of the needs that he had about wanting to pour all of his love on someone who was deserving, and some of the deficiencies that I had coming into this relationship, it's a perfect match.
It's a perfect. Y'all in my perfect match. That's why. That's another perfect match for you guys.
That's your need gets fulfilled when you're meeting my needs. Is what I'm trying to say.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense, guys?
I mean, I know that's not for everybody, but if we now this, like you said, it's a work. If you make that your mission, because you have a choice. You can make that your choice. Mm-hmm. You can make your marriage your mission. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That story's on page 150 of the book. Yes. But on page 77, like we said, every chapter has his side of the story, my side of the story, and it has questions for you. So it's also a workbook. So on page 77, one of the reflection questions says, when have you found yourself at what we will call the sweet spot? The sweet spot is where your desires meet with the perfect opportunity. And that's the sweet spot. Yes. So it's kind of you're describing sort of a sweet spot. Your need to pour this love, my need to receive this love is kind of a sweet spot. Your desire met with the perfect opportunity.
His needs, and we take care.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the sweet spot.
That's the sweet spot.
Yes.
Wow. I hope this was a good use of your time.
Guys. Yes. I'm going to answer some questions, man, and say hi.
Was there any questions?
Yes.
God made you too. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you, Kelly. Yes, he did. He made this for us to, and like we said, made it a mission of our marriage to inspire people behind our story.
Aunt Debbie talked about love cards. We got something that we're working on, sort of a little game, little something that you can play. Stay tuned. We're working on some things. Love hearing those stories. Yep. Very good. Yep. So we're gonna leave you with this.
He said, Bill, I was laying in my bed tonight, and I just started to cry uncontrollably, and then I started crying, and I felt that God had his hands on my
Yes.
side of my stomach, and he was removing the things from me that I didn't need and I didn't want to stop crying because I felt like God was tickling me.
God, you better go ahead and
You
tickle.
better tickle
You better
me,
do
God.
what you need to do to pull
That's
out those
right.
things. Because
And
listen, we
touch
got stuff to do, y'all.
Absolutely.
Come on now, let's take it up a notch. That's beautiful.
That's beautiful. That's
God
awesome.
really does
Yep.
love us,
Yep.
and He gets personal with us
Yep.
like that too.
Yes,
I
he
love
gets
it.
very personal with me. I ain't
All
gonna
right.
lie. Well, I mean, he gets personal with everyone.
Mhm.
Everybody has an opportunity to hear and speak to God. All you got to do is take the opportunity to reach out to him. He's going to reach back. Promise you.
All right.
So,
but our birdseed, you ready to start our birdseed?
Give him the birdseed, baby. You
All
figure
right,
out
so
which one it's going to be.
I think so.
Nobody.
I think so. So this is your birdseed to take you into next Wednesday. This is something that you can nibble on. We're gonna leave you with this birdseed. If there's no further questions, and I hope we didn't miss any questions.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you can get the book at love-birds.com or just go to Amazon. Get the LoveByrd story.
The LoveByrd story, Amazon. You can go to love-birds.com. I think we're still personally signing some books. As a matter of fact, you need some more. And you can also get it on Kindle. Now, if you go to Kindle, if you got the Kindle app, you can download the book, and it's a lot cheaper. I think it's only
it's half price.
It's half price on Kindle, so you can download it and get it on Kindle.
So get the LoveByrd story: how the class clown and the class president develop an extraordinary love. So we're gonna leave you with this birdseed to take you to nibble on into next week. After of all the things that we talked about this week, this is the birdseed.
Love you too, Aunt Debbie.
Unexpressed and unfulfilled needs.
Thank you, Dawn.
They don't go away.
They don't go away.
They get buried alive, and they could come forth later in uglier ways. So express those needs and work to fulfill each other's needs within your relationship. Absolutely. We're the LoveByrds.
Darlene and William.
We love people
and we love love.
Good night, everybody.